Zach, it's time to talk more Wheel of Time today.
Woo! I like Wheel of Time.
We've got a couple chapters for everybody on A Crown of Swords. This is our third part of this book, and they're little chapters, but they're big chapters.
We'll see. So hi everybody, welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about the Wheel of Time. I mean fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim, and we do talk about more than the Wheel of Time, more than just fantasy, but not today. Yeah, today, it's a happy space, the Wheel of Time. If Zach ever gets done with Malazan Book of the Fallen, we might spend some time talking about that content too, because I'm really loving that. But the Wheel of Time is a first love sort of thing. And that's what we'll be today.
Give me another decade to start and stop Malazan every now and then, like I did with the Wheel of Time when I was in third grade. And then I'll just like blow through the rest of it, and it'll be
not
fine.
Inappropriate. I've been reading it for well over a year, and I'm just on the end of the series now. It's hefty stuff, and it takes some time, but it's good. But enough Malazan. Wheel of Time, people. Let's talk Wheel of Time today. Zach, are you drinking anything as we get into these chapters today?
Gatorade.
Gatorade. Is it hot by you today?
I mean,
you're in Texas. It's the summer. Of course
yes,
it is.
But not that bad, especially not with a working AC.
Okay.
I just
it's going to be 91 here today. That's hot for us.
Yeah, no, that's not great for you.
But we don't get humidity. It'll be pleasant. I'm going to grill something later. We're going to go out wine tasting this afternoon. It's all going to be fine.
I had a thought the other day. So I've tried frying up Spam in this house, and
nothing wrong with that.
Well, it makes enough smoke that there's no way for me not to set off the smoke alarm, and then Rolly's freaking out, and it's not good. So I've done it once, and I've not gone back to it. But I recently was thinking about like Spam musubi and being like, oh, I could make some sort of like Spam rice and eggs thing, and then was like, So I think what I'm gonna have to do when I do is like go take a cast iron out to the charcoal grill in the back and make Spam outside on a pan on the grill.
Makes sense.
Just to protect my dog's ears.
Fair enough. Does not like when that alarm goes off. I get it. Who does, right? Who does? Quick, get the pillow, wave it over.
Yeah. Why are there, well, especially because it's up in like the vaulted ceiling, so I can't even mess with I can't take that one down and hide it while I'm cooking or something.
Just wait till the battery fails. It starts beeping on you.
That's one reason I'm glad I'm still renting. I can just call my landlords and they'll come take care of it.
If you're lucky, it's hardwired into the house. But there's still usually a battery backup, and that will go bad and it'll start beeping.
Because I know the one in this room, I'm pretty sure it's just a battery.
Okay.
Which is to say, I've taken it down off the wall. There's no wire connecting it.
Got it.
Within.
Well, I asked you what you were drinking. I'm drinking coffee out of our nice Fantasy for the Ages mug. Down in the show notes, you can get one for yourself. It's a good cup. But there's a shop where we sell stuff. One of these, and we have a frosty mug too. So they're very functional. Tasty.
Do you have two now, or is the one that you broke the one that's behind you?
The one that the dishwasher broke is indeed the one that's behind me right there.
Yeah, sure. The dishwasher was at fault.
I didn't break it. It literally came out of the dishwasher with the handle broke off. But I super glued it on. I just don't trust it to hold a cup of coffee anymore. By the way, do you have any of those things by you?
Crocodiles?
Yeah.
Alligators?
Any of those in Austin?
In Austin, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Maybe, but I don't think so. I mean,
like
I go
canals and stuff, don't you?
I go a few hours. I mean, I have a river, but not that I know of. I don't think we've got any crocs or gators. But if I go a couple hours to the east, I end up in Louisiana, and yes,
bayous. Show enough. I was just curious.
All right, I could be wrong. There could be a gator like 300 feet from my house somewhere. I didn't know that we had water moccasins until I shoved one out of the pediatric clinic.
Yeah, you idiot.
I didn't know what it was at the time.
But hey, at least if you were going to get bit, at least you were close to medical care.
Yeah, that one, it might not have mattered.
Uh, Wheel of Time. Let's get to it. We're talking the Crown of Swords, chapters 7 and 8 today. Just 2 chapters, and neither chapter is particularly long, but they pack a punch. There's stuff that happens in these chapters. Reminding people, we will talk spoilers for this chapter and stuff from before, but nothing ahead. We're not going to ruin it. So if you're a first time reader with us, you're still safe here. We're going to talk just about what happened in these chapters. And anything that's to come, we may hint at, we may reference foreshadowing, but we won't ruin it for you. Chapter 7 is called Pitfalls and Tripwires. And the events of this chapter start off with Rand having an actual conversation with the voice in his head. Luce Theron is talking out loud in his head. He wants the Ashaman dead, as usual. And Rand basically poses a question to him. He gets tired of it. It's like, hey, you want them dead. How am I any different? You know, are you saying I should off myself? I mean, what's going on here? Luz has no good response for that. But he does pause a moment. Like Rand addressed Luz in his head.
Yeah, it's not just a mad ranting in his head saying these things. There is a recognition and not response, but an understanding it as if there could be a response.
Well, there is sort of a response this time. That's what's even sketchier. Because Luz asks, Rand, are you real?
It's not a good sign when the voices in your head start asking if you are the real one.
Right. This is very sketchy. What is going on here? We'll have more about that later. But that's a question for first-time reader. Is Rand real?
Are any
is
of us?
Luz real? What is happening?
I didn't know we were getting this deep into philosophy today.
I told you, there's a lot of these chapters. Rand has 3 places to go this evening. That's what's starting this chapter. He's got a mission. He's got 3 places he's going to on the down low sneak off to, but not super down low sneak off to. He's learned his lesson here.
Good.
Just, box. Okay, box. He knows not to just go off and not tell people. So traveling with him on this secret down low mission tonight are those Ashaman that are his bodyguards and such.
Mm-hmm.
And his Aes Sedai, certainly a number of the maidens are traveling with him. His bodyguards keep him safe.
Hold on. Go back 2 seconds. Not Aes Sedai. Aiel, I'm assuming?
Did I say Aes Sedai?
Yep.
My bad. No Aes Sedai. Icky, yucky Aes Sedai.
Don't trust Aes Sedai. That's where Rand's at here.
Aiel. So he's got his Aiel guard with him as well. He won't go anywhere without them now. He's pretty well guarded, and he's learned he needs this now. So he opens a gateway to the first destination. And he lets the Ashaman go first. And as they go, Luce Theron, this essence, this entity in his head, literally tries to grab Sidene and blast the Ashaman out of existence.
Uh-oh.
That has to be a weird feeling, to have the voice in your head try to take control of you physically, to try to do something with power. And Rand has to fight him off. And in his head, shouts him down, says some very nasty things, and gets Luz to back off.
Go get in your box, LTT.
Ooh, let's not talk boxes. When they're all through the gateway, we see we are in Andor. That's the first place. He's secretly stopping in Andor to visit the people he's left in charge of things there. It's been some time since he was back to see them. Specifically, he's going to meet with Davram Bashir and with Baal, the clan chief, who's basically the head honcho of the Aiel who are in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And to get in to meet with them, he actually arranges a little deception. He has Fedwin, one of the Ashaman, I think the youngest one, and himself tied up like they're prisoners, and bags are put over their heads, and they are escorted in to face the music, with the leaders. So no one can be sure what prisoners are being brought in or why. It's just deception. He wants to keep his movements a little secret. It's noted he struggles with having a bag over his head. Why?
Dealing with being blocked out, being restrained, even if it is just a show here, is still actively like revisiting the recent trauma of Fox.
Oh yeah. Doesn't matter, he's doing it to himself. It's really hard. Yeah. But he makes it through that. And now he has a conversation. It's not just Bashir and Bale who are there. Some of the women, some of the wise ones are there too. And he's like, hey, that wasn't the deal. They weren't supposed to be there. Bale makes a comment. And no, this isn't in the notes if you're looking at our shared notes. Just from memory, he makes the comment, why are they here? That wasn't the deal. And Bale's like, hey, you try to keep your wife out of things someday. When you're married, you'll understand. But then one of the saddest moments in this chapter, probably the saddest moment in this chapter, is when Rand snaps back. What woman would I hate enough to make her marry the Dragon Reborn? Oh, poor Rand.
Sorry, did he say woman or woman?
You're not bringing up that old conversation piece.
No, I'm bringing up the semantic difference of, yo, Rand, you've already been told 3 women are going to share you.
Yeah, he's not actively thinking to move forward with that right now.
Doesn't matter. When Min knows something's true, it's going to happen.
There you go. Okay, so what else do they talk about now that he's here? They discuss what's been happening here in Andor in his absence. Turns out, kind of like in Kyrian, a couple of the noble ladies decided, hey, we haven't seen Rand in a while. It's time to make our move. And 2 of them made moves towards the throne. And another of the ladies, the Lady Dylan, captured him, threw him in prison. And she has decreed herself as the regent, meaning I'm not the queen. I'm just in charge of keeping things going as they should.
Yeah.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Bit of both. More bad, probably, because it's someone seizing power amongst themselves, actively causing potential unrest within the political scheme of Andor. However, if there's some political unrest, attempted forced stability from someone that isn't Rand, it does present an opportunity to then right things and move things around. And so it's like, it's not a good thing, but it could be used.
Compare it to what happened in Kyrian while he was gone. I think Rand views it as acceptable because he doesn't decide I have to do something about this. You know, Colivir killed off some of her competition and took over while he was gone. So he had to step in, he had to fix that. Andor hasn't acted quite the same.
There is the distinction of saying that you're serving as regent leaves the impression that you are holding it for Rand, for someone else. It's not yours.
Right.
You're just in charge right now.
Exactly.
And so there's not as much you need to stop down on it. But also, if I remember correctly, and I'm reading correctly, doesn't kill political rivals, just imprisons them.
That's right.
So a little less cutthroat, a little more forgivable.
Exactly. You know, and just holding the position for someone else, I mean, that always works out. Like Denethor in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, no, it
oh, wait a second.
Doesn't. Heck, we don't even have to go outside the series. Like Rand in Andor. That's worked out so well so far.
Another topic they talk about are the Aes Sedai. Okay, you know, the elephant in the middle of the room. Rand, what are you going to do about the Aes Sedai, the White Tower? They tried to kidnap you, dude. And his decision is...
we're not going to touch that right now.
It's like, what? He's pretty content that if they don't bother him anymore, we're done with that for now.
We're going to
get other things to worry about.
We'll give them the silent treatment.
Yeah. Give them no attention. Give them no sign of what I'm thinking or what I plan to do. Let them hang a little bit, but I'm not going to actively go after them either. I'm going to do nothing to make the situation worse. And the others are like, really? I mean, Elida's in charge over there. Yeah, think you can trust her to not do anything?
No, but he's got other things he wants to deal with right now first.
He does. Speaking of Aes Sedai, he does get an update that there are Aes Sedai in Caemlyn. They've been coming and going and stuff, but never more than 10 at a time. What's the significance of that?
Varen is aware of what a number of 13 would mean, and therefore is not letting that happen so as to not spook Rand. Like, I'm not saying, but I'm saying Varen's responsible for this. She's smart enough to recognize how he would react, and they're trying to be mindful of it.
Now, can we really be sure there's no more than 10 at a time?
No, not at all.
Right. But out in the open, and obviously there's no more than 10 at a time, I would think from Rand's perspective, that's still a little too many to feel comfortable.
It's too easy to have just a couple that are around elsewhere, as well as we know that that's like the maximum number that could really work together, to our knowledge at this point at least, and oppose Rand. We don't know if they actually need 13 to beat him up strength-wise.
I think it's implied.
It's implied that to me, it's always been implied that we know Rand is way stronger than any one Aes Sedai, and so much so that they need to make sure they severely overpower him. We've never tested. We don't know where that line is. So why would you bring a shotgun when you could bring a bazooka?
Speaking of bringing a bazooka, that's a segue. Rand has a thought at this point in the conversation about how much he misses his fat man Angreal. He had that little ace in the hole, that extra oomph in his power. And when he was kidnapped, it was taken away. It was not found in the wreckage of Dumai's Wells. He does not know what happened to that Angreal. Where
I'm sure
did
it
that
won't make
Angreal
another
go?
appearance.
Keep in mind, it's an Angreal that a man can use. So no woman Chandler would have cared, would have even probably sensed what it was. I mean, well, they might have known what it was, but they couldn't do anything with it.
Maybe.
Were there any men at Dumai's Wells who can channel?
Only like a dozen.
So if it was there, and it's not now, there's a chance somebody else who was there scooped it up. First-time readers should remember that. But it might not have been there either. Maybe it was left in Kyrian.
Maybe they just tossed it in a gutter.
But he does wish he had it, because it has made the difference on more than one occasion, just giving them that a little extra boost. All right, Rand's done with this group. He's going to depart now, head to his next place, which we're not going to get today. We'll get that in our next episode. But as he's leaving, he's going to leave one of his Ashamen here with the group. He's going to leave Fedwin, this one that snuck in with him. Says he can be a messenger. If you have things that I need to know, you don't have to wait till I show up the next time. Tell Fedwin, he will get the message to me. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to leave an Ashaman with a couple of our other big groups out here. And that kind of tells us what he's going to do here tonight. A couple other groups he's going to go visit. Leave him an Ashaman. He's building a network.
Which, interesting fun thing here, it's not like Ashaman have discovered the ability to telepathically send messages across great distance. No, he's just leaving people who can travel.
Yep, exactly. And as he heads out, he tells them, oh, and be ready, guys. The attack on Ilion, it's going to begin soon. It's almost go time. Yes. All right, that's chapter 7. Anything else to talk about with chapter 7?
I think we can go right chapter 8.
I love it. Chapter 8 is called The Figurehead, and it's in a
like
Egwene POV.
Oh, not like a ship.
Nope. That's your Ship of Magic book you're getting to next.
Mm-hmm.
But no, in this one, Egwene's the figurehead. She's running up against frustration working with these Aes Sedai because most of them don't see her as the leader. Yes, she's the Amerlin seat, but, she's the Amerlin seat. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
She was chosen to be a puppet, and she knows that. Doesn't mean she's going to take it laying down.
They don't view or trust her to be the one in power. They just want to manipulate her.
Mm-hmm.
And she is trying to flex her muscle here, trying to make her way. And here she's going to have one little victory. She's going to decree that they're going to take a break. Okay, they've been moving slowly towards the White Tower. They're a long ways off. But the Aes Sedai, the army, slowly been moving. And we're going to take a break now. We're going to take a day, let the army rest, let it do what it needs with supplies and preparations and such, and then we'll continue. Now, Sheriam's like, do you really think one day is enough? Maybe it really should be a little longer. So, pushing back. But Egwene's like, one day. So trying to flex muscle. It's a small thing, but that's what it's going to be. At least that's what she says right now.
Mm-hmm.
I like this chapter because in the midst of what we're going to see with Egwene and having conversations with Sheriam, with Swan, who's here at the beginning and stuff, we're actually getting another perspective on something that happened at the end of Lord of Chaos.
Mm.
The ending of Lord of Chaos, like, either jumped ahead in time just a little bit, or we're just not synced up with the Rand POV that we just had. I think it was a little flash ahead in Lord of Chaos at the
Okay.
end, but we'll get to it. What we do have here then is Egwene. She's in her own quarters. Swan and Sheriam talking with her. She's got her handmaiden, her servant Chesa, sitting off to the side doing a little needlework, stitching, darning. I don't know, but she's just there in the background too, and we start to love her because she makes some side comments. Oh, just talking to herself, but clearly relevant and related to the conversations that Egwene is having with Swan and Sheriam.
Oh yeah,
Things
she's
that
got
it's,
ears and she's got a brain.
yep, and it would be totally inappropriate for Chesa to give the Amerlin seat advice.
For sure.
But she's not. She's doing the same thing I did as a basketball coach when I was ticked off at the refs. I'd turn to the player next to me and start talking my opinion about what I just saw out there.
The lesson that I didn't learn, which is how I got a technical and fouled out.
And I never got a technical. I was quite good at it.
You were
I'm not
passive
talking to the
aggressive.
ref. I'm not telling the ref anything. I'm talking to this kid and pointing out what's wrong out there right now. Yeah. So she's speaking to herself, things she knows everyone can hear, and let them do what they want with it. And it's great. Her advice is good too. We start to appreciate Chesa. And like you said, she's good. She knows stuff. She has a brain. It's going to be obvious. In the midst of the conversations that are happening, one of the things that's going on in Egwene's mind is a wondering of where Logain went. She arranged in a previous chapter Loghain's release. He escaped. Except Egwene allowed him to go because it was going to be a problem that he was here. Remind us why it was a problem that Loghain was still with these women.
Just because he could channel again?
Yes. But because he could channel again, what do Aes Sedai do to men who can channel?
They gentle or kill or whatnot. And there was a whole problem with Rand's amnesty and does Loghain apply? If he does, that's dangerous. So are we gonna cause a problem between us and Rand by violating his amnesty, or are we gonna cause a problem for us by just letting Loghain still be?
Right.
He's kind of got a vindictive streak towards Aes Sedai for good reason.
Yeah, it was a real issue how they were going to be able to resolve that. And Egwene decided the best solution was to remove the problem. Not by killing him, but by just letting him go. And trust that he'll do something good. But she doesn't know what he did. She doesn't know where he went. It is a little nagging worry. Is that going to backfire my decision? Or is that going to work for good? I don't know.
I have to wonder if there's fanfics out there that run through the implications of what if instead of letting him go, Egwene had either killed him or bonded him right there.
Whoa.
And just weird alternate paths.
Yeah, that one hadn't even crossed my mind. I don't know what to do with him. I'll bond him. That's kind of mind-blowing. Wow. Well, not long after her thoughts about Loghain, and letting him go, her mind shifts to someone else who can channel that she has chosen not to let go for reasons, and that would be Moghedien. And she puts the Adam bracelet on. Now, this is where we know it's not synced up or something else was told ahead of time.
Magi get released at the end of the last book.
Right. We saw Moghedien's point of view as someone broke her out. But here, Moghedien's still captive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Moghedien, of course, has been hiding in plain sight as the Lady Merrigan, person who... refugee. That's the word I want.
That's a word.
Yeah. And when Egwene puts the bracelet on, she has the comfort of knowing, okay, Moghedien is still in her own tent, waiting for whatever she's told to do, as it should be. So that's just, okay. Conversation has turned towards Aes Sedai and the White Tower, and Egwene corners Sheriam, who must obey the 3 oaths and be honest, into admitting that the Saladar sisters had sent 10 of their own back to the White Tower, returning like Elida asked. 2 from each Aja, except Red, because they didn't have any Red sisters, and Blue, because no Blue is going to go back there right now. So 2 from each of the other Aja. And their focus, their intent is to be amongst the other sisters and spread rumors about the Red Aja and how they had arranged for Logain to be raised up as a dragon, a false dragon, so he could be taken down. And look at us, we're awesome.
They sent back 10 Aes Sedai to be dissidents and spies.
Right. Now, they can't lie.
Yeah, but they can wiggle around the truth.
Do they have to believe that the Red Aja did that for them to spread rumors about?
If they're going to say it outright, yes. If they are going to say that they've heard it said that this happened, then they're telling the truth. They have heard that said.
Exactly. So they can tell what they've heard. That doesn't mean they have to believe it's true. You're correct. This shows such a hole in this oath. They can lie through their teeth. It's all how they frame what they're saying.
Qualifier on what they're saying, they can say whatever they want.
To be certain an Aes Sedai is holding to that oath and telling you only the truth, you as the one talking to them have to work really hard.
To be clear, this would be solved if the oath was to not lie, because this is a form of lying. However, the oath is to speak no word that is untrue.
Right? There's a lot of wiggle room within that phrasing. At this moment, Egwene feels a stab of pain through the Adam bracelet, and she recognizes the feeling it is indicating a man has just channeled to remove the necklace around Moghedien's neck. She quickly excuses herself, makes some lame excuse, I need some air, and stupidly rushes right off to Merrigan's tent. I say stupidly because you just sensed a man channeling there, so you go there by yourself? But she's not thinking about anything other than Moghedien is loose. Again, are you stupid?
I mean, on the one hand, stupid, but not really. It's more probably not the wisest move.
Oh, man, so much could go
wrong,
but
it needs to be checked on, and she is capable. It's not like at this point she's not in the same boat that Nynaeve is, where she needs to be super worked up to be able to channel. If Egwene needs to, she can fight.
Well, what Egwene finds is nothing other than the Adam necklace is left there. She's gone. There's no Moghedien.
Oh, no.
And she sensed a man channeling. So then she's like, who did this? Rand? No, Rand doesn't even know we have her. Ashaman? No. They don't, same thing. Did Logain do this? Well, again, he didn't know anything about Moghedien. There's no reason any of them would have been the ones to do this. That leaves the Forsaken. There had to have been a Forsaken right here in our camp. But it had to be
besides
male.
The other Forsaken that we knew about that was right here in the middle of camp.
Yes. But it had to be a male Forsaken. So we get a nice little checklist of, okay, which males are left. And so let's do that. So she knows Agenor, Rand already got rid of him. Balthamel, we saw the Green Man take care of that one. Bilal, we saw Moraine balefire his butt.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah. So, okay, those are off. Ravine, Rand took care of that
balefire. He's gone.
So those it can't be any of those. Who's left? And she's like, well, there's Asmodean, there's Demandred, and and we also already saw Shamael taken out too, back in Tyr. So there's Asmodean, there's Demandred, and there is Samael. Now, they think Samael is over in
Ilion.
Thank you. So that really leaves Asmodean and Demandred. No one knows where Asmodean is. No one knows where Demandred is. So it could have been one of them. Oh, crap.
Yeah, it's not. Turns out when you swear to the Lord of Undeath or something, if you want to kill him, you gotta make it stick.
Now, Egwene's deductions are sound. She just doesn't know all the information.
No, she doesn't know everything that is in the realm of possible.
It was definitely someone channeling Sidene.
Correct.
But yeah, we learned in Lord of Chaos who it is. It's not anyone Egwene would ever have thought of. And that's where we're going to leave. That's the end of the chapter. She's like, oh, crap. And the ramifications of Mogideon being loose again. And someone channeling Sidene right under their nose to break her free. It's like, oh, boy. Yeah, that's what we got. Any last thoughts, Zach?
It's a shorter one for us this time. And we're getting through these faster than we were before nowadays, but it's also kind of we'll get through them at the pace we get through them, and I make no promises about what that looks like. Sorry.
Still, these were good chapters, some significant actions that have happened, and to think what will be the eventual fallout here now. You know, with Mogideon on the loose now, with Rand going around speckling Ashaman around and connecting his groups and stuff. You know, there's things to ponder. And let's not forget about Lews Therin in his head trying to take over. Ooh, significant events to keep an eye on as we move forward. But we do have time to do a spoiler room section. Spoiler room, spoiler zone. What did we call it again? It's been a while.
I mean, if you have the audio cue, it'll say it.
It's true. But if you're a first-time reader, you want to leave now. Thanks for coming. Hope you liked the episode. And if not a subscriber, you really should. Do it. But for the rest of you, we're going to spoil something. We're going to talk full spoil now about something we talked about today. And we're going to roll to see who goes first. I've got my big honkin' die. Ha!
You got a 1?
I got a 3.
I got a 16.
Well, that definitely beats mine. So you get to pick first. What do you want a full spoil?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't know we were doing this, so I wasn't thinking about what to have ready.
Yeah, we haven't done it in a while.
I'm gonna talk about something here. Why does Shiriam want to delay? Why is she pushing back? And there's a couple of reasons here.
Man, you're gonna take mine.
But I'm gonna take the big spoil of it. And that Shiriam's Black Aja. Wild. Not fun. Sucky. But very much is no, the adding instability in the camp, sowing this rift between the Saladar sisters and the tower, making that further, trying to jockey for her own power and position. All of that is just tied into she's not serving the greater good, per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you're seeing action that makes sense. The delay, when you understand she's working for the other team.
It made sense in other contexts too, but it makes more sense and is less petty seeming when you understand she's working for the other team.
Yeah, totally. Completely agree. All right, that's yours. Mine is, I want to talk a little bit about Rand and the voice in his head. We're seeing a new and improved Lews Therin now, voice talking to him, and it is becoming a stronger, healthier personality within him. Healthier in a weird, twisted way. One that has more identity, more energy, more ability to try to take charge. Rand is mentally ill, people. This is a direct result now of his time in the box, the trauma he went through, and it's breaking down reality for him to the extent now that he's talking to himself as if these memories are a true personality, are really this other guy, and he's giving that ability to Lews Therin by acknowledging his realness within his own head. And that's going to have all sorts of issues. First time I read it, I thought he was a different personality. I thought it was the spirit of Luz Theron from the past talking to him. But when you really look at it more deeply, no, he's
In
just really
truth,
mentally ill.
it's Rand has all of these memories and all of this knowledge, but does not accept them as a part of him, and instead, through the trauma and through listening to these past memories, it more or less creates the LTT persona to hold on to those memories, and it's a whole weird, not great thing.
Yep. It's a coping mechanism. It's what he's doing to survive. It's what he needed to do when he was stuck in the box. But now that's with him. And that's going to cause more impact as we move forward.
It's also a certain level of coping mechanism for you have a whole bunch of memories that don't feel like they're yours.
Yeah. All right, there you go, people. A little fun, full spoil. It's nice to just let it rip for a moment. Thanks again for hanging out with us. And if you have any comments about what we talked about in these chapters, if you think we got something wrong in our understanding of it, if you just want to talk about it too, again, spoiler light in your comments, but please drop them down there. We love to chit chat, and I always respond whenever anybody makes a comment. Even if they say, "You suck." I had one of those the other day. I'm like, I've arrived. Someone totally disagreed with my take.
We love a hater.
Yeah. That's not encouragement to tell me I suck, people. I really try not to.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You suck.
Love you too, boy. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.